Listen carefully, because what I'm about to share with you could literally be the difference between thriving and just barely surviving when things go sideways. Right now, all across America, experienced preppers are quietly filling their pantries, garages, and storage rooms with 7 specific items. And no, it's not what you think. It's not just rice and beans. It's not just ammo. The smart preppers, the ones who've been doing this for decades, they're focused on things most people completely overlook until it's way too late. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to grab, where to find it, and why time might be running out faster than you realize. So stick with me, because number 4 on this list is something almost nobody is talking about, and it could save your family's life. Let's get right into it. Before we dive in, let me tell you something important. The world has changed. Look around. Grocery store shelves are emptier than they were 5 years ago. Prices on basic goods have gone through the roof. Power grids are aging, supply chains are fragile, and tensions, both at home and overseas, are higher than they've been in a generation. This isn't fear-mongering, this is just reality, and smart Americans are responding the only way that makes sense. They're getting prepared. So let's break down exactly what they're stockpiling, starting with number 1. Number 1 on this list might surprise you, because it's not food, it's not water, and it's not weapons. It's medicine. Specifically, over-the-counter medications and basic medical supplies. Think about it for a second. When was the last time you actually took inventory of your medicine cabinet? Most American families have maybe a half-empty bottle of ibuprofen, some expired cough syrup, and a few Band-Aids. That's it. Now imagine a situation where pharmacies are closed, supply lines are cut, and you can't just run to CVS when your kid spikes a fever at 2 in the morning. Experienced preppers are stocking up on pain relievers like acetaminophen and ibuprofen, antihistamines like Benadryl, anti-diarrheal medications, antacids, basic antibiotics ointments like Neosporin, hydrogen peroxide, rubbing alcohol, and bandages of every size. They're also grabbing things like electrolyte powders, cough drops, and burn cream. Why? Because in any kind of crisis, whether it's a natural disaster, an economic collapse, or just a bad winter storm that knocks out power for a week, minor medical issues can become major emergencies fast. A small cut can turn into a serious infection. A fever can spiral. Dehydration can kill. Smart preppers know that having a well-stocked medical kit isn't just smart, it's essential. And here's the kicker. Most of these items are still relatively affordable right now. But during the COVID panic, we all saw what happened. Pharmacy shelves got cleared out in hours. Don't wait until you need it. Get it now while you still can. Number 2 is something I cannot stress enough, and that is water and water purification. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I have some bottled water in my garage, I'm good. Trust me, you're not. The average American uses around 80 to 100 gallons of water per day. Even in a survival situation where you're cutting back drastically, you still need at least 1 gallon per person per day just for drinking and basic hygiene. That means a family of 4 needs a minimum of 120 gallons for just 30 days. And that's the bare minimum. Smart preppers are doing 2 things. First, they're storing water in food-grade containers, 55-gallon drums, water bricks, and even larger tanks. Second, and this is the part most beginners miss, they're investing in water purification systems. We're talking Berkey filters, Sawyer mini filters, Life straws, water purification tablets, and even portable reverse osmosis systems. Why is purification so important? Because no matter how much water you store, eventually it will run out. But if you have the ability to purify water from rivers, lakes, rain, or even questionable tap water during a contamination event, you'll never go thirsty. Some preppers are even installing rainwater collection systems on their properties. Others are buying gravity-fed filters that can clean thousands of gallons over their lifetime. The point is this: water is the single most important thing you need to survive. You can live 3 weeks without food. You can live 3 days without water. Do the math. It's not even close. And right now, water filtration products are still readily available. But as more people wake up to this reality, expect prices to climb and stock to disappear.
Number 3 is one that experienced preppers swear by, and it's long-term food storage. Not just any food, but specifically calorie-dense, shelf-stable foods that can last 25 years or more. We're talking about freeze-dried meals, dehydrated fruits and vegetables, hard red wheat berries, white rice, dried beans, rolled oats, powdered milk, honey, salt, and sugar. These are the foundational items. But here's where smart preppers separate themselves from the crowd. They're not just buying these items, they're learning how to use them. They're practicing cooking with food storage now, before they need it. Because here's a hard truth. If the only food you have is wheat berries and dried beans, and you've never cooked them in your life, you're going to be in serious trouble. Preppers are also stocking up on canned meats, peanut butter, cooking oils, spices, and comfort foods. Yes, comfort foods, because morale matters when you're stressed and scared. A little bit of chocolate or coffee can make a huge psychological difference. Some folks are buying Mountain House pouches and ReadyWise buckets. Others are doing it the old-fashioned way with mason jars, pressure canners, and Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Whatever route you choose, the goal is the same. Have at least 3 months of food per family member, and ideally a full year. And don't forget about your pets. They need to eat too. Stock up on dry pet food, store it properly in airtight containers, and rotate it regularly. The grocery store is not your pantry. It's a delivery system. And if that delivery system breaks down, even for a few weeks, you'll be glad you prepared. Now we're at number 4, and this is the one I told you about at the beginning. This is the one almost nobody is talking about, and that's silver and barter items. Look, I'm not here to tell you to dump your savings into precious metals, but what I will tell you is that throughout history, every single time a currency has collapsed or hyperinflation has hit, the people who held real, tangible assets came out on top. Smart preppers are buying junk silver, which means pre-1965 American coins that contain 90% silver. They're buying 1-ounce silver rounds and silver eagles. Some are buying small amounts of gold, but silver is more practical for everyday transactions. Why? Because if the dollar takes a major hit, silver becomes a medium of exchange. But here's the part most people miss. Silver isn't the only thing being stockpiled for barter. Preppers are also storing items that will become incredibly valuable in a crisis. Things like coffee, alcohol, cigarettes, ammunition, batteries, lighters, matches, fishing hooks, sewing supplies, and feminine hygiene products. These items are cheap right now, but in a long-term emergency, they become like gold. Imagine being able to trade a bottle of whiskey for a week's worth of vegetables from a neighbor's garden, or trading a pack of batteries for medical care. This is how communities have always functioned during hard times. The preppers who think ahead aren't just preparing to survive. They're preparing to trade, to network, and to thrive. And the best part is, most of these barter items have a long shelf life and are useful even if nothing bad ever happens. It's a win-win. So while everyone else is panicking about the stock market, smart Americans are quietly building a stockpile of tangible wealth that no government, no bank, and no algorithm can take away from them. Number 5 is power and energy. When the lights go out, and they will go out at some point, are you ready? Most Americans aren't. Smart preppers are stockpiling multiple forms of energy. They're buying solar panels, both large systems for their homes and small portable ones for charging devices. They're investing in solar generators like the Jackery, EcoFlow, and Bluetti units. They're stocking up on batteries of every size, A, C, D, and especially rechargeable lithium batteries. They're buying hand crank radios, solar-powered lanterns, and good old-fashioned candles. Some are going further and installing whole home backup generators that run on propane or natural gas. Others are storing gasoline in approved containers with fuel stabilizer added. Propane tanks are also a huge focus. They're cheap, they store well, and they can power everything from your grill to your generator to your camping stove. But here's something a lot of beginners forget. You also need fuel for cooking and heating. Wood-burning stoves, rocket stoves, and even simple camping stoves with butane canisters are essential. If you live in a cold climate, having a way to heat at least one room of your house without electricity is non-negotiable. People die every winter when the power goes out for too long. Don't be one of them. The grid is more fragile than you think. Cyber attacks, EMP events, severe weather, and even just aging infrastructure can take it down. And once it's down, repair times are measured in days, weeks, or even months. Be your own power company. Even if you start small with just a solar generator and a few flashlights, You're already ahead of 99% of Americans. Moving on to number 6, and this is something that's becoming harder and harder to find: ammunition and self-defense supplies. Now, I want to be clear. Prepping isn't about being aggressive or paranoid. It's about being responsible. And part of being responsible is being able to protect yourself, your family, and your supplies. Smart preppers are stocking up on ammunition for the firearms they already own. The most popular calibers right now are 9mm, .22 LR, .223 or 5.56, 12 gauge, and .308. Prices have been all over the place, and availability is unpredictable. What's on the shelf today might be gone tomorrow. But ammunition isn't the only thing being stockpiled. Preppers are also buying pepper spray, tasers, knives, and self-defense tools. They're investing in good locks, security cameras, and reinforced doors. Some are getting trained in martial arts or taking firearm safety courses. Others are forming what they call mutual assistance groups, basically trusted friends and family who agree to help each other in a crisis. Because here's the truth. In a long-term emergency, you can't stand watch 24 hours a day. You need a community. You need people you can trust to have your back. The lone wolf prepper is a myth. The ones who actually make it through hard times are the ones who built networks beforehand. Get to know your neighbors, find like-minded people, build relationships now, because you can't build trust in the middle of a crisis. And while you're at it, make sure everyone in your household knows how to use the tools you've stockpiled. A firearm you don't know how to use is just a paperweight. Train, practice, and prepare your whole family. Because security isn't a product, it's a mindset. And finally, number 7, and this might be the most important one of all: skills and knowledge. You can have the biggest stockpile in the world, but if you don't know how to use what you have, none of it matters. Smart preppers are investing in themselves. They're learning how to garden, how to can and preserve food, how to hunt and fish, how to start a fire without matches, how to navigate without GPS, how to administer first aid, and how to fix things when they break. They're buying books on these subjects, real physical books, because if the internet goes down, all those YouTube tutorials disappear. They're getting medical training, taking courses on herbal medicine, learning about water purification, and studying history to understand how people survived past crises. They're teaching their kids these skills too, because prepping isn't a one-generation thing. It's a way of life. They're learning how to sew, how to cook from scratch, how to bake bread, and how to repair clothing and tools. Some are even learning blacksmithing, woodworking, and other old-world trades that have nearly disappeared. Why? Because in a true long-term emergency, the people with skills are the ones who become invaluable. The person who can fix a generator, deliver a baby, or treat a wound is the person everyone wants in their group. Knowledge is the one thing nobody can take from you. It doesn't take up space, it doesn't expire, it doesn't run out of batteries. And the more you learn now, the more capable you'll be when it counts. So pick a skill, any skill, and start learning today. Take a weekend course, read a book, watch tutorials, and then practice. Don't just collect supplies. Become the kind of person who doesn't need them as much. Now let's talk about the bigger picture for a moment. The reason these 7 things are being stockpiled isn't because preppers are crazy. It's because they're paying attention. The world is going through massive changes right now. Inflation is eating away at our savings. Geopolitical tensions are rising. Natural disasters seem to be happening more frequently. Cyber attacks are targeting critical infrastructure, and our supply chains have been exposed as far more fragile than anyone realized. The people who got laughed at 5 years ago for prepping aren't laughing now. They're prepared. And the rest of us? Well, we have a choice. We can stick our heads in the sand and hope nothing bad happens. Or we can take responsibility for ourselves and our families and start building real resilience. The good news is, you don't have to do everything at once. Start small. Pick one item from this list and start there. Maybe it's water. Maybe it's a basic medical kit. Maybe it's just learning a new skill. Every single step you take puts you ahead of where you were yesterday. And every step puts you ahead of the millions of Americans who are completely unprepared for even a minor emergency. Here's the bottom line. Prepping isn't about expecting the worst. It's about being ready for anything. It's about peace of mind. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, your family will be okay. It's about taking control in a world that often feels out of control. And it's about returning to the kind of self-reliance that built this country in the first place. Our grandparents and great-grandparents knew how to garden, how to preserve food, how to make do with what they had. They didn't call it prepping, they just called it living. Somewhere along the way, we lost that. We outsourced our food, our water, our power, and our security to systems we don't control. And now, those systems are showing cracks. The smart move, the responsible move, is to take some of that control back. Start today. Don't wait for the next crisis to remind you how vulnerable you really are. Because by then, the shelves will be empty, the prices will be sky high, and it will be too late. If this video opened your eyes, if it gave you even one idea you can act on, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one, and drop a comment below telling me which of these 7 items you're focusing on first. I read every single comment, and I love hearing from this community. We're all in this together, and remember, the best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Stay safe, stay ready, and I'll see you in the next video.